Thanks for joining. This is day 4, technically, of 31 days of cold plunging. What happened on day 3? To make a long story short, I hiked in a little bit late, about 5 o'clock it was, thinking I could bust out an 8-mile round trip, and I fell into a very overflowing, I guess we could call it a creek, that is not normally as overflowing, but you know, the mountains are defrosting these days, and fell in, got my first cold plunge right then and there for a second or two, and then I went towards the lake, and it was extremely cold, even colder than this creek here, which you've seen me jump into already. And I didn't last very long in that lake. I lasted maybe about 40 seconds. I intend, and I'm going to talk about failure a bit more later, I intend to submerge myself instantly in this water. This is a really good spot that I went into on day 2, because I was able to hold myself under really well. And there is something to do with familiarity of things. When we jump into something that we're familiar, that we gain a little bit of practice and comfortability with one thing, we can grow some confidence at it. Although I suggest not making it a regular habit, because there is a lot of benefits to switching up our routine or our practices, right? It's best to not stay safe all the time so that we just look good. Anyways, I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna jump in. I hope you're rooting me on as well, because I'm rooting you on. We're gonna talk about failure from yesterday. We're gonna talk about resistance, and I'm gonna mosey on in there for 2 minutes. Oh, and I lost my timer yesterday too. It fell into a crevice in the earth, which I just I couldn't even see where it fell into, because the crevice is so deep. It's a burrow, and I was not going to stick my hand in there or shovel it out. Or we'll just order a new timer. Now I'm going to do some breath work for this, so I can get into a good mode for it. All right, so I did it. I'm glad I did it. As you could see, I am still doing it in an incremental way, where I am trying to get my body into the water incrementally. I know a lot of people recommend just getting straight in, and I do want to work up to that. As you could see, I was like positioning myself into different crevices because there's rocks in the creek, right? So how am I feeling after this? I am feeling a little shivery now, actually. I'm definitely feeling a little shivery. But I feel really glad I did it. Yesterday was a bust. Yesterday I had some really high expectations, I suppose, of myself, which I do. I'm good at that. And I thought that I was going to hike up to a certain lake that I really enjoy, and I was gonna do the cold plunge in that lake, and I was gonna like get right back. And because I did this hike many mornings out of the week last year, it wasn't an intimidating thing to me, and it was I thought I was gonna just blast through it, but I had really poor time management about this, where if I was gonna do it again, which I will and I intend to, I have to start out much earlier, because in my head I did not prepare very well at all. I also didn't, this is terrible of me as a wilderness first responder even. I didn't pack a headlamp or anything, and I got caught in the dark yesterday, and there's a certain exit of that trail that I like to get out of that I park near, but there's also another exit that takes you to a different street that is parallel to the one that I parked on, but you're going through all of that mountainous terrain to get to the other side of. And so I knew as it was getting dark that my chances of finding the spot to exit from where my car is parked were going to be lower than me getting out of the exit that is marked with flags. So I got out of that exit, and I was walking in the dark pretty much, trying to find my way back to the car. That tacked on another 2 miles. So I walked probably at least 10 to 11 or 12 yesterday. And when I got up to that lake, after my first light cold plunge where I plummeted down into a creek I was trying to cross, because it was really slippery and very, just, the water was so strong. It wasn't like that last year, but the mountains are defrosting now, you know, so it's really overflowing. Anyways, my knee's a little bit hurt today, and I was still determined, even though I was running out of phone power. I did not take the enough power with me, so that died, and I was down to like 18% or 6% by the time I got to the lake, and it cut off, and I just only got in there for about 40 something seconds. The ground there was actually so cold that I could barely put my foot down on it. So I suppose that going into that lake or that area, because it definitely must be, I'm going to check the elevation of it. I think it's a little bit higher maybe than here, but I'm not sure. Or I was just not having the best of time, and that happens to us. The point of practices is that we're gonna have days that we just suck, or that we had a lot of things working against us, or whatever the conditions are, right? And the important thing that we need to take from a practice is that we just get back up to the plate. You just get back on the horse. So yeah, yesterday it was sort of a failure. In some people's eyes, they'd be like, why are you so hard on yourself? I wouldn't be able to do that. So really, like, I was still happy, and I learned, I'll be honest. I was really displeased with myself with such lack of preparations, for setting off so late and thinking I could just blow through there. One of the biggest takeaways is that we're going to have days that we don't succeed, that we suck, that we have a lot of things working against us, we didn't prepare enough, whatever it is, different kinds of circumstances. But if we can commit and recommit, even if we took a day off, because that's where a lot of people's negative critic comes in with the all or nothing thinking and these other kinds of cognitive distortions, they're called. When that comes out, we think, what's the point? There is a point. Get back on the horse, recommit. And I wouldn't be where I'm at today with any of my practices, with having healed my body of multiple ailments to where I'm thriving today, if I did not continue to commit to it. And we're all capable of this. The beginning starts with intention. Intention, right? And so just get back on to the horse. I could see a little bit of fixed mindset coming in that was saying stuff like, what is the point of doing this anymore? I'm already healthy. I don't need to do a cold plunge. The ego works in sneaky ways, okay? What's the point? This is distracting me from making other videos for the channel that will probably be better for others. You know, it can go on different tangents, right? But the point of this cold plunge, there's many points to this, right? There's the experimental point of it, and the health component, right? Holistic health. There's also that we're exploring a little bit of masculinity, as I expressed in day 1. And I was talking about men's health, which I am going to talk about more on this channel. And I was talking about PTSD awareness, because these are both, June is Men's Health Month and PTSD Awareness Month. And cold plunges are noted to actually not help you get through PTSD. I never did a cold plunge to get through PTSD. I'm going to share with you in another video the different things that I went through to get PTSD, to get different traumas out of my body. But we'll dive into that in another day. So tomorrow's cold plunge, tomorrow will be day 5. One of my best friends, Ken, he has a dog that's named Rasta. She's my favorite dog. I love her, and she loves swimming. He takes her around to all the different lakes, and she just jumps right in. And I expressed a couple days ago it would be really cool if I was able to get into the lake, no problem, and swim with her. And I don't know how long that's going to take, but I might be able to tomorrow. That's wishful. I'm motivated to. So it's another motivation that's locking me into this, right? We must remind ourselves, I think, of what we are motivated by so that we can keep on honoring those motivations or values. This is very important. Otherwise, when we become disconnected from what we're really doing something for, what is the pursuit about, it's easy for us to just drop it and let it fall to the wayside. So we'll see. I'll try to film it. It might be an epic fail. We don't know. But I have intention that that something brilliant is going to come of this cold plunge. It's this whole experience. And this is like a creative process. I don't know what's going to come of this, but I'm using this as an accountability for me to show up and to integrate one element of holistic health, one practice, of holistic health, cold plunge, cold exposure, there's many names it's called, with another kind of holistic health topic. Because this is what holistic health is about. It's not operating from just one lens. It is taking a bigger perspective on body, mind, soul, spirit, all the different areas of life. All these things interplay with each other. They affect or impact each other. And when we don't acknowledge that, we often can suffer from dis-ease, or we are bypassing and we're not living a balanced, integrated, we're not living in balance and integration. That's what I'll leave it there with saying. Anyways, I'll catch you tomorrow in day 5, and please let me know what's on your mind. Tell me, is there any topic that you'd like me to explore? And have you tried cold plunging? Would you try it? What is a practice that you have taken up that you found really difficult, but now it's actually a breeze to do? What is a practice that you'd like to take up? Share that with me. I'd love to know. And like this video, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Mwah!